Hi, Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to share with you some amazing designer rose-centric fragrances. So these would be the ones like I've smelt so many designer fragrances. These are the best of the best that center around rose. So I would say rose is the star note for these fragrances. It's amazing. Some people don't actually feel that they're rose people, but I think that there is a rose fragrance for pretty much anyone. Sometimes people attribute rose to being a little bit more mature. Personally, I find rose to be very dramatic, exceptionally feminine, and very often so classy. So I've got some fantastic ones to choose from ones that are more fresh to ones that are gourmand to ones that are a little bit like sultry and sexy. So I kind of cover the gamut. I can't wait to share these with you. But before I do, if you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and hit that button. Join the Weird and Wonderful family. It would be amazing to have you part of the community, and let's get into this. So the first fragrance that I want to start with is one that's on my wish list. And I want to thank Julie from Quebec for sending me a sample of Because It's You by Giorgio Armani. Now this to me is the perfect fall, winter, delicious, kind of slightly boozy rose fragrance. As far as the notes are concerned, the notes that really come to the forefront for me is the rose and the raspberry and the vanilla, but it feels boozy to me. So I don't know if it's the lemon that's coming across as boozy, but definitely it smells like a boozy raspberry liqueur mixed with a sweet rose. And I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. It's jammy. It's not overpowering. It's sweet, but it's definitely warm enough that it would work in fall and winter. It's kind of a little bit syrupy as well. So kind of like a mixture of a gourmand / fruity fragrance. So sometimes fruity fragrances aren't necessarily what I would consider gourmand when I'm thinking from a baking perspective. But this one, the vanilla and the booziness that I get from this feels a little bit more gourmand than some. So I really enjoy this one. I find the longevity to be good. And I haven't purchased a full bottle. It's on my radar, or it's definitely on my wish list. I do have a Middle Eastern inspired version of this coming. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully in the next month, I will be able to bring that to you and give you a comparison on whether it's similar or not. But Because It's You, it's really underrated. I never hear about it, but it's seriously fantastic. The next fragrance I have for you is discontinued, and I thought about not mentioning it because it's harder and harder to find. It's so good that if you can find it, now would be the time to buy before it's completely gone. It's Nina Ricci's L'Extase. I prefer the original. There's many L'Extases and they all kind of center around rose, or the majority of them do, but just the original L'Extase to me is amazing. This fragrance is uber feminine, slightly sultry. The star notes in this one, you're seeing the notes on the screen, but the star notes are definitely the rose, raspberry again, and caramel and some vanilla. This one is a little bit more sensual than Because It's You. It's a little bit sexier. This one I would say is a little bit more mature leaning, but it is so beautiful. It's soft. It's got a little bit of a powdery edge. And to me, it smells like a really sexy, a little bit edgy woman. She's got her act together. She's not afraid of her own sensuality. She sometimes maybe flaunts it, and she smells amazing. The longevity of this is fantastic, like a good 7-8 hours. It's seriously so gorgeous for fall and winter. I absolutely love this. And it's still, I think, rather affordable, but I think it's pretty much sold out everywhere. But I wanted to mention it because it's one of the best rose fragrances in the designer realm that I've ever smelled. Now, the next one that's kind of in the same genre, so I would put it in the same category of kind of a sensual, sexy, has it together, slightly edgy woman. Like when I think about this woman, I think of her as the mom that's super feminine, has her shirt kind of undone a little too much. I don't know why I always think of that, wears a leather jacket, super kind of edgy, funky, but there's just this power that kind of radiates from her. So this next fragrance would fit in that same kind of category as L'Extase. So if you're wanting to replace L'Extase with something, this would be the one I would go for, and it is Musc Noir Rose for Her by Narciso Rodriguez. This is my favorite Narciso Rodriguez fragrance. The star notes in this would be plum, rose, and vanilla. So I definitely get that plum. It doesn't really smell boozy. There's a little bit of a powderiness, and of course there's musk in here. So the powdery, musky feel is there, but there's this deep kind of delicious, decadent plum note in there that to me, like I find plum to be a sexy fruit. I'm not quite sure why. I just find it super sexy. So the mixture of plum and rose is a very kind of sensual feeling. It's a little bit more mysterious. This one is perfect for date night, or if you like rocking slightly sensual fragrances during the day. This one is great. I find the projection on this one to be phenomenal. And yeah, it just feels super powerful, sensual, and I love that luscious plum in there with the rose. It's just perfection. I'm going to talk about a few rose kind of fresher fragrances. The first would be La Vie Belle en Rose. Now this is one of my favorite La Vie Belle flankers. I like this better than L'Eclat because I like that rose raspberry combination. Now this one is a little bit fresher. It does have the raspberry, the rose. It's still sweet, but there's some red berries, pink pepper, and bergamot in there that I really feel comes out and makes it feel just a little bit more fresh. To me, En Rose could be worn all year round. It's very feminine, again, slightly powdery. You could wear it all year round, but I definitely appreciate it more, I think, in the spring and summer. Longevity is decent, like about 6 hours on it. It's definitely a soft raspberry rose, but lots of powder in there. You have to like the La Vie Belle DNA because it's definitely present in here. So you get a bit of that patchouli. There's a bit of muskiness that comes out. But I just think it's really pretty. It's a great go-to fragrance if you're not wanting to smell like a sexy rose, mature rose, whatever. This one is just kind of playful. It's a great everyday signature scent worthy fragrance. I believe this one's discontinued too, but you can still find this lots on the gray market for sure. So I'll have everything linked down below, but La Vie Belle en Rose, absolutely gorgeous. I prefer this La Vie Belle over Intensement, which has a lot of raspberry in it. The raspberry in this one is just a little bit more softer. And so I really love this. There's no harsh edges on it. It's soft, but it's super wearable. And to me, an excellent rose fragrance. If you like something a little sweeter, but a little bit fresher, this one is awesome. Now, another designer line that I have actually, I don't think I've ever talked about, but I really enjoy, and it's on my wish list as well, is the Irresistible line from Givenchy. One of my favorite is Irresistible Rose Velvet. The reason why I like it so much is it has a black currant note in it. So it just adds a little bit of tart juiciness to that rose, and black currant happens to be one of my favorite fruit notes. So I really enjoy that. But recently I tried Irresistible Very Floral, and that one is absolutely gorgeous. It has coconut water in it. It's got the bergamot. It's got the rose. It's got some ylang-ylang. There's a little bit of a solar vibe in this one. And I think it's a beautiful take on a rose fragrance, perfect for spring and summer. So if you are in a different hemisphere than me and you are headed into your spring, summer time, Irresistible Very Floral is such a gorgeous fragrance. Definitely you need to sniff it. I was so impressed with it. I love just that kind of coconut mixed with the rose, mixed with the black currant. I just thought it was beautiful. But all of the Irresistible line, what I find about them is it's a sweet rose. It's very youthful, it's invigorating, but they're slightly kind of more fresh feeling to me. So again, a perfect fragrance for a signature scent. You can wear it to the office, you can wear it during the day, beautiful fragrance, but I also think it's one of those ones that has enough sweetness that guys are gonna enjoy it as well. So I just think it's an all-around great line. You need to smell them. It's, to me, very underrated as well. So I need to actually just purchase it, but things distract me. There's one that's distracting me. I'm going to talk about it soon. I have to have it. I just have to have it, but I'll save that for another video. But anyway, the Irresistible line, please check it out. Rose seems to be, for the most part, the main component in the fragrances, and then some of them have black currant, some of them don't have that fruit component and just have some iris in there, so you get this beautiful kind of just rose fragrance. And to me, it's on the same par as the Idole line, except I find the Irresistible line to be a little bit more flirty, a little bit more fun, a little bit more playful, maybe a little bit more youthful as well. They're kind of on par as far as how much I appreciate them and just that beautiful rose that comes through. It's super feminine and fun to wear. Being I mentioned Idole, I have to mention that whole line as well. If you go with the original Idole, what you're getting to me is a not so sweet, straight up aquatic rose. So there's a bit of a watery vibe in there. It feels a little bit ozonic, maybe a little bit sparkling. It's very no nonsense, pretty fragrance, if that makes sense. So I don't find it overly flirty. I find it to be sophisticated and classy. Very feminine, but yeah, it has an ozonic feel to it to me. So that is the original Idole. There are many in the line. They're all worth sniffing to find one that works best for you. My favorite is Idole Nectar, and I've talked about this many times. I love the pairing of this sweet rose with some vanilla, some caramel, and some popcorn. The popcorn is way in the dry down, so don't let that popcorn note throw you off. If anything, it would just add to kind of ground the fragrance. What I enjoy about this is it's a sweet, airy, happy, jammy rose. It smells fluffy and it smells like a party. So when I wear this one, it's very celebratory, energetic. I always get a compliment when I wear this one, and that's across the board with Idole. I feel like they're major compliment getters. And for that matter, Lancome is probably the best house as far as making phenomenal rose-centric fragrances. So my favorite is Idole. I really love the new Idole now. It's not quite as sweet and it has a slight spice somehow to me, like not super spicy, but just a little bit of almost like what patchouli does sometimes, where it gives you a little bit of just a tiny hint of spice. That's what I get from Idole now, and then it gets much more Idole-like in the dry down with some vanilla as well. But this one is happy, it's vibrant, it's energizing, it's celebratory. And this is a fragrance that I think of for going for brunch with my friends or going shopping, and I just want to feel happy. This would be a fragrance that I would put on. It's certainly, for me, a mood booster, and it's also really mouth-watering. So love this rose. Definitely check out all of the Idoles to find the one that's right for you. I think that there's something for everybody in that line for sure. Now, the next fragrance that to me is kind of similar to Idole. It is a designer fragrance, but it's hard to find it in store. So it's more on the gray market, but it does remind me of Idole, the original, and it is Quatra by Boucheron. I love this bottle. I just think it's so gorgeous, and I love the way this just kind of twists up and down. So love the bottle. The fragrance is interesting because I think it's got a strawberry note. What it comes across to me is, again, an aquatic rose that has like a bergamot or almost a grapefruit feel to it. It's very sophisticated, it's classy, it's understated, it's elegant. This would be a perfect signature fragrance. Longevity, about 5 hours, excellent projection. This one is very classy and sophisticated, but it's affordable. So I really, really enjoy Quatra. If you like Idole, likely you'd like this. If you like Chanel Chance au Tendre, which doesn't actually have rose in it, you will likely like this, because to me, it kind of reminds me of Chanel Chance au Tendre mixed with Idole. So really, really enjoy this fragrance. It's just a staple. It's a great staple to have in your collection. More amazing rose fragrances. The first one is Elie Saab Le Parfum Royal. Now, this is my favorite fragrance from the Elie Saab Le Parfum collection. Although I do, maybe it's not. No, I think it is. So for this fragrance, the star notes is definitely orange, raspberry, vanilla, and patchouli. The patchouli to me comes across as slightly spicy and almost a little bit Middle Eastern feeling. I just love this. I think it's in the same kind of genre as a Parfum de Marly Delina. It's not quite as tart as with that rhubarb lychee combination in Delina, but it gives me that same kind of really powerful rose fragrance. And I always, like when I think about this fragrance, all the other fragrances that I've talked about, they're more uplifting, energizing, classy, whatever. This one is what a warrior queen wears when she goes out onto battle. She's got this gauzy dress, but it's underneath this major, like kind of mixture of leather and metal armor that she's wearing. And then her hair is plaited in braids and a mixture of waves and braids. And she looks kind of wild. Maybe some of it is up in some sort of whatever. And then she's got a couple huge Siberian tigers on either side of her. And then to begin the war, she just kind of flings her hands back like this and just goes, ah! Like that. That kind of feel. That's what I get out of this one. This is a powerhouse. Okay, anybody can wear this. You don't have to be crazy. You don't have to be a warmonger to wear this. It's seriously such a beautiful rose fragrance. It's rather affordable, it's long lasting, and to me this one is perfect for fall and winter. So it's definitely too heavy for the summer, spring. And you have to like patchouli because there's quite a lot of it in this, but I love it. Like, it's one of my favorite rose fragrances. When I put it on, I just feel really powerful, slightly grounded, a little bit majestic. It feels like a queen type fragrance. So for whatever reason, Royal is the perfect name for this. I love it. If you've tried this, weigh in. I know this one's a bit polarizing, I think, because that patchouli can be too much. If you're not a patchouli lover, you definitely need to sniff this first. But if you like kind of deep, jammy rose fragrances with some patchouli, this is just stellar. Now, another one that I will touch on, I've only smelt it a couple times, but it is so gorgeous, and it's a little bit of a higher end designer from Lancome, and it is Lancome UD Bouquet. That is the most beautiful kind of jammy rose praline oud fragrance. So if you like a little bit of the mystery, if you like a little bit of that oudy rose, as far as a designer fragrance, that is the primo as far as rose is concerned. Now, the thing about Lancome UD Bouquet is it is a lot pricier, and there are tons of knockoffs on the market currently in the Middle Eastern realm, but it definitely has that traditional kind of Middle Eastern feel with the oud, with the rose, with the praline. It's absolutely beautiful, very sensual, very opulent and luxe, perfect for an evening out. And I definitely, when I think of a fragrance like that, think Christmas or that time of year. So fantastic fragrance. Now, the last fragrance I want to mention is a Lancome fragrance, and it is La Nuit Tresor. This is the original La Nuit Tresor. Such a beautiful rose gourmand. Now, there is a whack of notes in here, but what I primarily get is rose. I get praline. I get almost like a chocolate blackberry or chocolate strawberry. To me, it doesn't come across as strawberry as much as blackberry somehow, but that dark berry fruit combined with like it says praline, I get more of a chocolatey vibe. There's some coffee in here, some incense. This is super sensual and seductive. So this is an addictive, intoxicating fragrance. It's absolutely beautiful. This is the epitome of a date night fragrance. And even the bottle to me is just so like kind of boudoir feeling, like it feels somehow like a corset. I don't know. Anyway, it's gorgeous. It can also be used as a fantastic weapon if needed in a pinch. This is going to serve you well. But this is such a beautiful fragrance. It lasts a long time on the skin. It's totally edible feeling. So I think chocolate covered strawberries, a night in with your significant other where things are getting a little bit more exotic. This would be the fragrance you'd want to put on. Like, it is delicious, totally kissable, lickable amazingness. I can't believe I forgot one. I had to throw it in even though I put all my recording equipment away. It would be hideous to not mention this one. It's Issey Miyake's L'Eau d'Issey Rose and Rose. This is one of my favorite rose fragrances. Again, it's a raspberry rose, but it's kind of musky with a hint of jamminess and citrus. So it's absolutely scrumptious. Again, energizing, playful, fun. Love the musky component. This one is perfect for spring and summer. It's kind of fun, energizing, uplifting, and just an excellent fragrance to wear. Lasts about 6 hours. Seriously though, one of my favorite rose fragrances for sure. Super pretty, easy to wear, and versatile. One other fragrance, I forgot to pull it out, but I have to talk about it. It is one of my favorite rose oud sandalwood combinations. It is Santal Royale by Guerlain. This is a spicy, jammy rose mixed with oud and sandalwood. Smells slightly vanillic as it dries down, although there's no vanilla in it at all. It's definitely less sweet than something like an Oud Bouquet, but it is in the same family where you get a slightly spiced oud fragrance that is super opulent, luxe, classy. That fragrance is one of the ones that I always think about going to New York at Christmas time and going to a brownstone and you're wearing this beautiful velvet gown and your significant other is in this gorgeous tuxedo. You pull up in a limousine, you go up the steps to this brownstone, there's a little string quartet playing, someone's serving hors d'oeuvres, and you're just in amazement at the beautiful fireplace and the tree and the everything. It's just totally opulent and everyone is dressed so beautifully and you're hobnobbing with the biggest hobnobbers there are. Anyway, it's that fragrance is the one that I always think of for that. It's still in that designer realm, but it is a little bit more on the pricey end, but not terrible. So those are my favorite rose fragrances from the designer realm. There are so many that are out there. What about you? What is your favorite rose fragrance from a designer perspective? I would love to know. Oh, another one that is really, really worth checking out is Angel Nova EDT. I don't like the EDP, but the EDT is this beautiful kind of fresh, lychee rose, slightly watery, sweet. It's so delicate and lovely. So I love that one. I don't know how easy it is to get that one. I think it's still relatively easy, but that is a gorgeous fragrance as well. So what about you? What are your favorite rose fragrances from the designer realm? Please leave it in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts and also weigh in on the fragrances that I mentioned. I always appreciate when you guys weigh in. So if you've had a great experience with the fragrance that I mentioned, please leave it in the comments. And if you don't like it, please leave it in the comments because that is helpful to anyone that's actually kind of considering to get a fragrance. Different opinions are always welcome. So that is it. I hope you have an amazing week and we'll talk to you soon.